Tekken isn't just a fighting game, it's a legacy. Over the years, the series has evolved while honoring its roots, setting itself apart as a true legacy fighter. Tekken has always been about building on its past. Now with Tekken 8, the franchise ascends to new heights by emphasizing more aggressive gameplay, with the introduction of the heat system to amplify the action. I'm MYK for Evo FGC, and these are the top 10 matches from the Tekken World Tour 2024. Number 10. Chikurin vs Lohai, Evo Japan. The first one to kick it off for the tour is Evo Japan 2024. Chikurin's opponent is a former Evo Las Vegas champion himself, Lohai. Coming from the loser side, having been set there by Chikurin, Lohai, having tried Dragunov during Winners Finals, starts off the set this time with Steve. Chikurin very early in round 1 establishes a not so commonly used Lily move, down back 3. It's a decent move since it's a pretty reliable high crushing high attack that gives a knockdown on normal hit and a full combo on counter hit. Especially in the Steve matchup, it's like sending a message, don't use your highs. Round 2, Lohai does a rocket launcher into flicker back 2, Steve's power crush, but miscalculates the damage and goes for a reliable Albatross 2 for the guaranteed follow-up, instead of a forward 4-2 that would have killed. Scramble ensues, but Chikurin was able to take the round back with a down 1-2 and a clutch forward 4 timing. Chikurin sticks with the game plan but ends up losing round 3, though still closes out the first game with a clutch low crush hop kick into heat feisty rapid mix-up. Lohai switched back to Dragunov for the remainder of the set, but Chikurin's hop kick success rate was something else. Either it was for a low crush or a timing call out, hop kick always seemed to work. Along with Lily's QCF3, the voila move, causing flip over on grounded opponents at the time, was a bad combination for Lohai in the mix department. In Game 4, Round 2, even when things were looking terrible for Chikurin, he again lands another miracle hop kick to take the round back. And now on set point, Chikurin goes full bulldog mode with Lily's lows and takes the whole tournament. At this time, it felt as though Chikurin was a step ahead of everyone in terms of how Tekken 8 can be played, also showing us how strong saving heat for a character like Lily at the wall can be with the QCF3 flip over and the feisty rabbit mix-up afterwards. Number 9. Kudons vs Abel Del Maestro, Punishment 3. Kudons finds himself in La Paz, Bolivia for Punishment 3, a master level event to try and gather some more points to make it into the top 20 of the global leaderboards. Kudons is sent to losers after his defeat to King Ray Jr. He then climbs his way through the loser side to make it into top 8, where he faces up against Chaos's Yoshimitsu. It's a close set, but Kudons pulls out victorious and gets a chance at a run back against King Ray Jr. This time, Kudons didn't hesitate on pulling the trigger on his hell sweeps and was able to get the double jeopardy set against Junior. Kudons makes his way into the losers finals up against one of Latin America's most notable players, Abel Del Maestro, formerly an Eddie Gordo and Eliza main in Tekken 7, now maining Steve Fox in Tekken 8. This set is a 1-3, and Kudons takes the first game very comfortably. Game 2 is a real back and forth, though Abel is able to take Game 2 with a couple of counter hit back 1s and Lionheart 2s. Kudons then has another very quick and comfy Game 3, now up 2-1. Abel throughout the tournament has been using Steve's evasion with the use of weaves and Lionheart stands to stay slippery and hard to hit for his opponents. And as soon as they try to overextend, boom! There's a back 1 waiting for him. Game 4, that's exactly what happens, landing 2 counter hit back 1s just in the first round. Kudons starting to run a bit of the panic up 4s to no success, and the weaves and back 1s are all working out for Abel. With the final Lionheart 2 into double Albatross low mixer, Abel ties up the set 2-2. Final game between these two, and crazy stuff starts happening in round 1. Abel goes for an enhanced heat duck to approach, and Kudons activates with a heat burst, but the burst goes right through him. Then Kudons gets a round-winning launch, but a back 2-3 heat dash at the sidewall also flips the character to the opposite side, and he drops the combo because of it, but he still gets the round. Abel ties it up quick in round 2 with some weaves and pokes. Round 3, Abel gets a huge lead, but Kudons finally finds an opportunity in the round with a Morning Crow 2-2 heat dash, but misjudges the wall distance, and now Abel is on set point. Kudons switching it up in the next round to a quick pace small poke style. He finally activates heat and finds another Morning Crow 2-2 heat dash at the wall and tries to close it out against Abel, but Abel won't die that easily. Clutch low block on wake up for Abel activates with burst, and Kudons checks after with a full crouch 4, but Abel already healed back enough life to survive that. Clips him with a Sonic Fang heat dash and is basically even. Kudons with his life on the line makes a huge bet using Devil Jin's new back 3 backswing blow and gets over Abel's round-ending down 2-1. Double Luigi, final round. Abel carefully forces offense and gets Kudons with a couple of pokes into Steve's power crush after his rocket launcher on block. Kudons, having not used Hell Sweep too often in the set prior, finally goes for that mix-up after back 2-3 heat dash on block. Abel had it scouted as well and gets the big block and launch punish to pretty much close out the set. Kudon finished 3rd place at punishment 3 and showed us all that the legend continues. Number 8, Knee versus Hafiz Tanvir Tiger Uppercut. Knee, having been sent to the loser side by Ulsan's Dragunov, climbs his way into top 8 and defeats youngster Farzin as his first opponent. Knee's next opponent is Hafiz Tanvir, a very young and talented Claudio player representing Pakistan, even younger than Farzin. Game 1, the first 2 rounds are hella close, but the youth and the clutch factor on Hafiz Tanvir's side, closing out round 1 with a down bag 2-1 and a clutch hop kick in round 2. Knee shows life in round 3, but in round 4, Hafiz Tanvir calls out a cannonball straight and pops heat mid combo and finds a back 4-2 heat dash right afterward, giving him a huge life lead in the round. Knee finally finds a last chance miracle with counter hit forward 3, but went for a hard read on the down 4 on hit into Rage Art, hoping for some kind of retaliation. Game 2 looked like it was all Hafiz Tanvir as well, but Knee, with a clutch block against Claudio's low heat smash, perfectly punishes it with a jet upper, even with the awkward heavy block stun with that heat smashes have. But Knee did the dash up knees too fast, too good for his own good. Hafiz Tanvir, now on set point against Knee, smells blood and tries to go for the kill. Knee here recognizes he's on the ropes. This is his tournament life on the line in this one round. Knee then turns his defense up to 11, confirms off the first hit of his down forward 1 and gets a good chunk of damage off the string, all while methodically maneuvering around with small sidestep left blocks on a heat activated Claudio. Once heat and starbursts are expended, Knee finds a small whiff punish with a 4-1, then sidestep left blocks again into a safe activation with a heat burst. Misses his QCF 1+2 heat dash on the whiff hop kick, but still gets a good chunk of chip and the +5 off of it regardless. Now out of heat, though has wall positioning and the +5 from the heat dash, Knee uses it and confirms another down forward 1 string into a little bit more chip with the snake eyes forward 2. Hafiz Tanvir interrupts the momentum with a 1-2 and tries to use it for a side step mix-up, but Knee is one step ahead and interrupts with a jab string of his own to stay alive. Next round, Knee finds a couple of jabs and a huge forward 4-1 whiff punish into another down forward 1 hit confirmed to close out the round. Now it's final round in game 2. Hafiz Tanvir turns up the aggression even more for his set point and goes full offense on Knee. Finds 2 quick back 1s, then it's time for the running mind games. Running 2 into forward 4-4s, just constant pressure. Heat burst to activate to tack on a bit of chip, then back 4-2 heat dash. He still has one more in the chamber with starburst. Sidestep 4, blocked. Then sidestep jet uppers to starburst down back 1+2 cash out. Knee with a safe off-axis combo reaches the wall but misses the taunt unblockable for the round. Hafiz Tanvir gets his back off the wall. Knee cashes out with the 1-2-4 heat dash, a hatchet kick into snake eyes forward 2 again, then challenges at -10 with a jab, calling out and stuffing Hafiz Tanvir's threat of a running 2, and then closes it out with a down 4. What a game! Game 3 round 1 is super tense. After what just happened in the last game, both players dancing around, jockeying for position and timing on each other. Gets down to both players at less than 30% and no more heat on the table. Knee finds a 1-2-4 near the wall and clutches it out. Then in round 2, Knee finds a big sidestep around Claudio's 4-4-4. He gets clipped by a back 1, then we see his perfect Tekken playstyle return with his control with single jabs and sidestep left block. Knee, returning from the brinks of death, turns it all the way around to be on set point with momentum into closing out the set. Number 7, Arslan Ash versus Pat Loars, Tiger Uppercut. This set was a true underdog story. Pat Loars, a longtime Tekken player from Thailand, really impressed a lot of viewers at this year's Tiger Uppercut. Pat Loars is a Lily main, and his opponent at this point in the tournament was none other than 5-time EVO champion and Tekken World Tour champion, Arslan Ash. Pat Loars surprises everyone as he holds his own and takes the lead in the first game against Arslan, even closing it out with a clutch up 3+4 with his back against the wall to close out game 1. Pat Loars also also takes the first round in game 2. But round 2 is going all Arslan's way, and Pat Loirs tries to up 3+4 out of trouble again, which Arslan was prepared for this time. Both players duke it out until it's the final round. Arslan in this round gets a 99% lead into one final mix-up after his +5 heat dash and goes for a sidestep 1. And where up 3+4 failed before, down 3+4, aka Matterhorn, got Pat Loirs' back. Activates Heat mid-combo and sets up for a feisty rabbit mix-up for Oki, which Arslan is mindful of and stays down, taking the grounded damage instead of the mix-up. 3-2 do glide into sidestep up, back 2-1 lands while Arslan was trying to interrupt with jabs. Then finishes Arslan off with a back-turned low heat smash, making the impossible comeback. Lily's Matterhorn stocks have gone up, all thanks to Pat Loirs. This really showed that there are many strong players all around the world, and hopefully we get to see more of Pat Loirs in the future. Number 6, Jimmy J. Tran vs. Yagami, Evo, Las Vegas. A battle of two titans. Longtime Brian master Jimmy J. Tran came down from Mount Strong style to bless us with his presence at Evo Las Vegas 2024. His opponent is none other than Oceania's pride and joy, Yagami, with possibly one of the most optimized Reinas in the world. The first game, Yagami comes out swinging and finds a 4-4-2 Sentai 3 immediately out of the gates. Yagami is up 2 rounds and Jimmy seems like he's having a hard time figuring out Yagami's timing, especially playing a heavy counter hit character like Brian. Jimmy has a strong round 3, though Yagami still ends up taking the first game. Game 2 starts and Yagami starts again with the Reina 4-4-2 into Sentai stance. Yagami does a kip up and avoids getting floated because it trades with Brian's down back 2. Jimmy then uses this trade to set up a taunt jet upper. Jimmy takes the first round. In round 2, we see the same situation again with Reina's 4-4-2 Sentai stand, but this time was on whiff on the first hit and allows for Yagami to armor through Jimmy's 2-3 challenge here, which usually wins in this scenario. Then we see a 4-4-2 into no Sentai stance. Jimmy recognizes and holds himself back from finishing the 2-3 check. Yagami finds a 4-4-2 Sentai 3 on hit anyways, into a couple wrong guesses later, gets the round. But Jimmy wasn't going out without a fight. Next round, Jimmy finally finds a clean sidestep left around Yagami's 4-4-2 in neutral and launches him with a jet upper. Yagami fights off the wall with a power crush and lands a 4-4-3 heat engager. Jimmy fights back against Yagami's Reina pressure with his back against the wall. Tries to use the wall explosion, but the angle on the Mach punch doesn't work out. Jimmy then lands a counter at 3+4 to seal the round. Yagami in the following round finds a super early heat engager. Final round, game 2. Jimmy gets a clutch low parry, doubling as a crouch dash for his approach to get under jabs. Pops heat burst to make it really hurt. Yagami now fights off the wall with heat burst. Jimmy though stuffs Yagami's approach with a neutral orbital heal and trades off an enhanced Mach punch to secure game number 2. Final game between these two beasts and we're going to the regular arena. Yagami switches up his offense a bit, trying out some 4-2-3 sequences and gets a knockdown with the Sentai 1-2 power crush. Then returns to neutral and Yagami tries out the 4-4-2 again with no Sentai behind it. Jimmy, ready with a single jab check to recover in time to block Reina's while standing 1 and punishes it. Threads the needle on Yagami's jab pressure with while standing 3 into some clutch movement to get around Reina's hell sweep, and Jimmy takes the first round. Yagami in round 2 switches up his offense once again, this time the main theme, hell sweeps and low strings, and ties it up quick with the perfect. Yagami plays around with 4-4-2 no spin and tries to force it a bit too hard, and Jimmy gets a big counter hit cannonball straight. No throw break and Jimmy is now on set point. Yagami with his life on the line, round start electrics and stuffs Jimmy's quarter circle forward 1+2 attempt. A few stance 4-4-2 pressure into back 2 to tie it up for a double Luigi. Yagami starts again with 4-4-2 this time into the Sentai low and racks up some damage from stray hits, then pops heat burst to try and continue to widen his lead with chip. Jimmy through the onslaught finds an engager into a hatchet kick into a 1+2 throw, but Yagami breaks it. Jimmy, now with his back against the wall, does a down forward 2-1 into back sway, and Yagami ends up swinging into his sidestep 2-1 heat dash into this perfect combo to reach the wall and kill to take the whole set. Congratulations, Jimmy, the proud father of 500 new Brian babies. It's always good to see Mr. Knapp still competing. Number 5, King Ray Jr. versus Kokoma versus Fighting 12. King Ray Jr. makes an incredible run through the tournament, defeating not 1, but 2 legendary lawmains, Double from Japan and Mangja from Korea. to make it into winner's side of top 8. And after taking down Riot's world-class Jin, King Ray Jr. is guaranteed a top 3 finish, locking himself into winner's finals. Unfortunately, Mogul gets the better of King Ray Jr. and sends him down into the losers finals to go up against another South Korean killer, Kokoma. Kokoma, being the top tier enthusiast that he is, decides to go with Dragunov against King Ray Jr. Kokoma gets an early 1-2-1 heat engager, but King Ray Jr. quickly flips the script with a sidestep 2 wall splat into a crazy resplat combo in round 1. Tense back and forth, and we find ourselves at final round. Kokoma, now with the huge lead, was looking to close it out with a heat burst activation, but that's when it all starts to go downhill for him, with King Ray Jr. perfectly calling it out with a sidestep 2 engager. Wall pressures and finds another sidestep 2 into heat dash this time, reset into unblockable, wall splat into GG's, onto game 2. Game 2, they both duke it out again until the final round. Kokoma gets a back 4-3 heat dash, but it was afloat and wasn't ready to switch up his combo. But it doesn't matter as he finds a down 2 for Oki to take the game. Game 3 was Beatdown City. King Ray Jr. countered Kokoma's heat burst to take it 3 rounds straight. Kokoma, now with his tournament life on the line, switches for show to Fang. Things still pick up from where they left off, and King Ray Jr. has too much momentum on his side and takes the first 2 rounds. Kokoma stays alive in round 3 with some clutch sidesteps. Kokoma drops a crucial combo though in round 4, giving King Ray Jr. an opportunity, and give him an inch and he'll take a mile with a Gusto enhanced forward 1+2. Kokoma barely gets to shift the momentum back to his side with a shoulder heat dash, but plays around with the +5 a little too much with a couple of crouch dashes before going for Fang's headbutt, and gets challenged for the win by King Ray Jr. to solidify his spot in grand finals at Versus Fighting 12. King Ray Jr. takes the silver medal at this master level event, and this won't be the last time you'll hear about this Asuka master in the many more years to come. Number 4, Rangchu versus Arslan Ash, DreamHack Dallas. This set was insane. 2 former Tekken World Tour champions meet at DreamHack Dallas. Rangchu rocking the Kuma in this game over Panda because Kuma has some better heat moves, and Arslan with the full-time Nina now. Game 1, Rangchu sticks to the character's strengths and goes with a chip them down game plan with running 1+2s and bear X's, etc. Arslan has moments of offense where he's smothering Rangchu, but Rangchu's defense is too solid and perfectly reads a Nina slide and launch punishes it, and 1 straight bear electric later, Rangchu takes game number 1. Game 2, Arslan stays super close to Rangchu to not give him room to freely get in with running 1+2s or use the bear's long range arms that'll eventually chip him down. What got him killed in the first game? Gets him the second game with a counter hit this time on the slide. Game 3, round 1 was looking like Arslan's round until Rangchu got the wall positioning with Kuma and heat. The bear electric chip into heat smash pressure adds up and gets a clutch block on a wipe the floor to close out the first round. Arslan tries to stick with his poke heavy playstyle in round 2, but somehow every time Arslan thinks it's okay to check the low, Rangchu is ready for it. From there on out, Arslan sticks to only mids and runs into a bear X. Now both in heat, Arslan finds a blonde bomb heat dash and a command 2 throw and some Oki to tie it up. Rangchu finds a big bear electric into full heat dash combo and gets round 3. Round 4, the floor blast is active, and Rangchu finds himself controlling the pace of the round with a chip damage sequence. Finally finding an interrupt on too big of a charge while standing 1-2, Arslan fights off the wall. Both pop heat, Arslan pushing with blonde bomb heat dash, then Rangchu brings out the first and only G-Clef cannon in the set, and it lands on counter hit. Rangchu could have ended it here if he used the floor blast into a rage art finish. Instead, uses the remaining heat timer on a heat smash at the wall, tags Arslan with a full crouch 1 into while standing 1-2 charged again. Arslan interrupts again with single jab, uses his plus frames from the jab to threaten wipe the floor from Nina's crouch dash, but does crouch dash while standing divine cannon for the mix. Double Luigi. Final round. Super tense beginning of the round. Rangchu activates early with a heat burst, hoping to gain more of a lead with heat chip damage. Arslan counter activates safely to reduce heat chip since activating your own heat state will reduce it. Now both players without heat poking away at each other. Rangchu using Kuma's tiny little down 4 for the high crush utility under Nina's high strings. Both with clutch throw breaks, but both intentionally throwing, relying on the breaks to switch sides from the throw break animation. 15 seconds seconds left on the clock. Arslan runs into a bear X. 2-1, 2-1 keep out from Rangchu. Arslan wastes out the full bear hop kick string and punishes. Arslan tries to chip with the 1-2-1 1+2, which Rangchu high crushes with a full crouch 1, and then frame traps with while standing 1 to beat out Arslan's down 4 attempt at the finish line. Wow! The whole last round was too good. Number 3, Nobi versus Rangchu, DreamHack Dallas. Rangchu lost to Nobi earlier in the tournament during the winner's semis. Rangchu climbed his way back from the loser side to the grand finals, having used Kuma against Nobi in winners. He switched it up to Panda this time. Really? It comes down to the final round in game 1, and Rangchu takes it with a clutch punish on a low block into Panda's heat smash. Nobi then ties it up 3-1 rounds in game 2. Rangchu gains momentum early in game 3, and for the last mix of the game, Nobi gets a low crush up forward 4 with a sidewall in play, but misses the pickup, and Rangchu closes it out. Now in the lead, 2-1. Final round in game 4 on Rangchu's bracket reset point starts off immediately with a roll mix-up and catches Nobi ducking with the mid launcher, and was able to reset the bracket for a fresh and final 1-3. Rangchu continued his momentum from the first set and took the first game 3-1. In game 2, Nobi fights back and takes things to another final round. All tied up, 1 apiece. Rangchu dominates the first 2.5 rounds until Nobi lands a last chance back 4-3 heat dash to save his life. Rangchu answers back immediately with the rage art to close out game 3. 2-1 in Rangchu's favor. Game 4, and we see the same situation happen again from one of the earlier rounds. Rangchu with a heat activated Panda uses heat up forward 3+4 to beat out Nobi's power crush because it ends up taking too much damage to survive. Rangchu is now on tournament point and finds an engager and adds up a bunch of chip with heat shooting stars. Nobi on the brink of elimination hangs on with a counter hit 1-2-1 and a mid check. This next round is insane. Rangchu activates heat with an engager and starts tagging him low. Nobi with a defensive heat burst gets a float on Panda's roll mix-up attempt. Now Nobi with a bit of heat left uses it on a heat smash and threatens with movement before checking with a down forward 1. Rangchu cracked and tried for a hop kick, which gets floated. Nobi turns it into a full combo and cashes out with a rage art. After the rage art, Rangchu runs at him with a running 1+2, but it still wasn't enough life to kill. Nobi saving his trump card this entire tournament does a crouch dash while standing 4, followed into the backswing blow, and catches Rangchu trying to interrupt with a down 2 for the win. Stays alive and ends up taking the final game to become the champion of DreamHack Dallas. Number 2, AK versus Arslan Ash Combo Breaker. AK makes it all the way to the grand finals while doing some of the nastiest stuff with Shaheen on the way there. His opponent is none other than 4-time EVO champion at the time and Tekken World Tour champion Arslan Ash. AK with his trademark aggressive style comes out of the gate swinging, but Arslan is able to tame the beast for game 1. Game 2, AK takes the first round and should have had the second round too, but we see that going for his fancy while sending 2 combo costs him. Good recovery from AK in round 3 to take the lead in the game. Now on game point, AK tests the waters by forcing Shaheen's slide mix-ups. Arslan defends against it well, but AK hits this sick nasty wall combo into a sidestep down forward 1 to take game 2. Game 3, we go to Yakushima, the biggest stage in the game. Since walls aren't much of a factor here, we see a super poke heavy style between both these two players. Arslan winning it over AK with the unbreakable multi-throw mix-up into whiff punish at the very end. Game 4, Arslan pulls ahead, but AK answers right back with a beautiful combo again off the wall in round 4, bringing it to a final round tournament point for AK, or reset point for Arslan. AK starts the round with 4-4, trying to mix up the 4-1 he got a counter hit with the previous round. Gets punished, then finds a slide afterwards anyway. Back to neutral for a bit and finds another slide into full crouch down forward 4, into a counter hit while standing 1, then gets him with a running 2, which is a mix up for his high guard break. Score is 2-2 and the crowd is erupting with energy. Is this AK's tournament, or are we getting a reset from Arslan? AK has everything going his way the first round, but it all quickly falls apart as Arslan finds a counter hit wipe the floor into rage art to take the round. AK again finds an early heat engager and closes out the second round. AK drops a big keep out down forward 2 combo, but quickly recovers with a triple pump double slide mix up. Another counter while standing 1 into heat engager mix up. Arslan hangs on, and even with his back to the wall stays patient and punishes AK's down forward 4-1-3 surprise string to try and score a wall splat. Ties it up, final round. Arslan swinging with some jabs, but AK finds a keep out for back 2. Life's about even. Arslan uses a defensive heat burst after a running 2. Spends his heat smash for a little bit of chip, both back to neutral, and AK does a down 3 into dash down forward 2, clipping Arslan's movement. Doesn't drop the combo this time, and the final slide mix-up is what seals the deal for AK becoming the Combo Breaker 2024 champion. Seeing AK's pop off here was so real. He earned every bit of this moment from all the hard work throughout the years. The crowd absolutely losing it for AK's big moment was so beautiful to see. Number 1, Arslan Ash versus Atif. EVO Las Vegas. The grand finals of the biggest Tekken tournament in history begins, and Atif ends up taking the first game, and Arslan answers right back by taking game 2. A real back and forth between two players playing perfect Tekken. However, something changes in the first round of game 3. Arslan seems to have ascended mid-set. At this point, I feel as though Arslan reaches some kind of perfect flow state. Even after getting his blonde bomb stepped and launched, Arslan ties it up with a couple of pokes and by getting his gray life back. Atif finally gets a bit of breathing room with a side step down forward 2, but the combo doesn't kill. And Arslan blocks down 3 and the 4 perfectly and punishes and makes the comeback. The next round, he blocks almost all the lows from Atif and closing it out with a well-timed down forward 2. Crazy game 3 for Arslan here. Atif, having tried Dragunov in the winners finals and during this grand finals set, decides it might be time to switch to the Fang. The Fang pick was looking great, closing out game 4 3 rounds straight. Now Atif is on bracket reset point while Arslan is sitting on tournament game point. But Arslan, with his crouch dash under, finds a wild standing 1 at the balcony break and stays alive in round 2. Ties it up 1 round apiece. A keep out down forward 2 into blonde bomb heat dash, and Arslan is at tournament point. Slower start to this round, and Arslan finds himself running into a Fang forward 4. Atif misjudges the wall spacing though and doesn't get a full wall combo. Arslan taps into Ultra Instinct once again, but Atif does not allow it to happen and gets a clutch low parry while Arslan was mounting his comeback. But he goes for a standard combo hoping to get to the wall, and it still doesn't kill. In the heat of the moment, maybe he wasn't sure if he should use Rage Art or not. Arslan wakes up and blocks the final low mix-up and ends up becoming the 5-time champion, as well as Tekken 8's first EVO Las Vegas winner. That wraps up our countdown of the top 10 matches in Tekken 8, but the action doesn't stop here. Make sure to tune in to the Tekken World Tour finals to see how the season will conclude. With intense rivalries and surprising upsets still on the horizon, you don't want to miss how it all ends. Feel free to check me out on Twitch, YouTube, or X at the name is MYK. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching.